Na 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 na. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Movies TV Mad. Mick, your host with the most, then at Movies TV Mad. Instagram, Movies TV Mad X. The same with friends. There's so many social media platforms, I cannot keep up with it, boys and girls. So let's talk about Superman, because James Gunn has been in some kind of YouTube interview or some kind of interview. I don't know what it's about, but he's been talking about his Superman movie being more of a serious Superman movie, basically being kid-friendly, which means it won't always be kid-friendly, but it will mostly be kid-friendly. Isn't that interesting? A serious James Gunn Superman movie. Now, I never thought that this Superman movie would be a clown show. I never thought it would be as dark as the Snyderverse, but I've always kind of been confused about this accusation that Man of Steel is a dark Superman movie. I don't think that's actually the case. I think there's a lot of kind of smiling from Henry Cavill's Superman. There's some levity. It is pretty serious, and he does break Zod's neck, which was a debatable decision by, David Goyer. Yes, Superman doesn't have a choice but to break Zod's neck, because David Goyer, the screenwriter of the movie, didn't give Superman a choice. Let's not get that twisted. I think it was a foolhardy decision. I think, it didn't bother me so much at the time, but I think it did take about 400 or 500 million off the box office at the end of the day. I mean, he made 650 million. I think he could have easily made well over $1 billion, because Man of Steel is mostly a great contemporary Superman movie. But I have said for a long time, wouldn't it be the ironies of all ironies if James Gunn makes a pretty serious, dark Superman movie, and considering that Snyder was run out of the DC town for doing the same thing, wouldn't it be interesting? But we need to hold our horses here, because I don't think this Superman movie is going to be dark. You can tell from the palette. In terms of the palette, if we're talking on a literal sense, it's not a dark movie, but it's clear that this is going to be a pretty serious movie with some comedy. It will have some comedy in it, whether that's going to be funny, because when they were talking about Superman Returns in the marketing, the writers were saying, oh, this is the funniest movie we've ever been involved in. And Superman Returns isn't really a funny movie. I don't think the comedy really hits that well, regrettably. But I do love Superman Returns. I think it's an outstanding attempt. There's some moments when the CGI isn't great, like when he's flying in the end, it looks a bit cartoony. Mostly the CGI in Superman Returns is outstanding. I mean, there's a deleted scene I've mentioned quite a few times, the Return to Krypton sequence. The VFX, it must be the most finished, most amazing looking deleted scene I have ever seen. Someone attach it to the pre-credits, make it a pre-credit sequence on Superman Returns. We need a Superman Returns director's cut. Unfortunately, the director's on the run. He's gone to Israel. He's in hiding. He's making movies in Israel. There's a reason for that, right? Anyway, let's not go there. Probably a bad person, but a great director. I think that's the best way to talk about he, who can't be named, but let's name him anyway, Bryan Singer. The industry is full of really, allegedly bad people. I like old Hollywood because it was full of bad people that pretended at least to be nice. At least they kept the illusion. I'd rather the illusion than the reality. And the problem these days is they show us who they really are. When you look at Rachel Zegler, pretend to be a nice girl. Pretend you love everyone. Stop talking politics, right? Just promote your movie and zip it. Go down the wine bar, say what you want. But when you're in front of the camera, act like a half-decent person, right? Anyway, back to Superman. And so, yeah, I think lots of people are going to make lots of assumptions about James Gunn saying this is a more serious movie. And I think people who wanted it to be a more funny movie, a more light-hearted movie, are going to be saying, what's going on here, James? What's going on? Well, James Gunn has always had dark tones within his movies. Guardians of the Galaxy is funny and it's light and it has a light colour palette, and you've got, You've got the whole, lots of different things going on with all the characters. But it's also, those Guardians movies had darkness to them. Guardians Volume 2 certainly did. And Guardians Volume 3, in a lot of ways, was a very, very somber movie in a lot of things that they were doing. So it's there, and people may have not liked the darkness in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I think they appreciated the darker type of emotions and the pulling of the heartstrings in Guardians Volume 3. So James Gunn can certainly pull those heartstrings. He knows what he's doing. The reality of the situation is that James Gunn really has only made 3 successful movies. And I know that Sliver was kind of successful. Did he write and direct it or just write it? I can't remember. The Scooby-Doo movie, I don't know. I think he just wrote that one. It was kind of successful, I think. But basically, when you're talking about mainstream movies and real money, the Guardians trilogy really are the only ones where he's been successful at. Some directors haven't even been successful with 3 movies. So you've got to give him credit for that. The Suicide Squad's a great movie, but ultimately, for one reason or the other, it wasn't successful. So he's never made $1 billion movie either. That's an interesting thing as well. Some people believe that the movie must take $1 billion. Some people think it's not about the box office as long as it's a good movie. And ultimately, it has to be successful. It has to be great. It has to be everything it needs to be. It needs to be a great movie, and it needs to be successful. And it's not always the case that great movies are successful. Sometimes great movies are failures financially. Sometimes bad movies are successful. Look at Barbie. Barbie's a great example of that. Even that Wicked movie is doing well. But should it be doing well? It's Wicked. That's why it's making money, right? But people don't get it. They think it's a great movie. It must be great. It's making money. That's not always the case. But, his Guardians of the Galaxy movies are brilliant. So, I'm not I think there can be a misrepresentation here about Gunn saying this is a serious Superman movie. I still think it's going to have the fun that James Gunn has, but I think it's also going to be on a level. We've seen pictures of Lex Luthor with chunks out of his bald head. He's clearly taking those chunks out to create clones, and I think this is a great opportunity for Connor Kent. I think he will create a Connor Kent, not a clone because there's never been another version, but he's going to create the being of Connor Kent. And that will create the Superboy lore, because in the comics, he takes Superman's DNA and his own DNA, Lex Luthor, and he creates kind of this clone, which is Connor Kent, which is Superboy, which I really hope that they do in the movie. In terms of the trailer reaction that I'm going to do, I will not be jumping up and down like a jack-in-a-box. I'm going to be very measured. I'm going to be taking it in. I want to analyze this trailer for you guys and for myself. I might even watch the trailer before I do a reaction. You're thinking, well, why do a reaction? Well, people like it, don't they? But as I say, I'm not going to pretend I haven't seen it. But the more times you see these trailers, the better. I want to take it in. I don't want to miss anything. This is a trailer. I do a lot of trailer reactions, well, not a lot, but I do rush through them because it's not something I particularly like doing. I just do it for the channel. But this is Superman, my Mount Rushmore of characters. And, that trailer could... Now, what I'm saying to you is, forget this December the 15th lark. This trailer is going to hit any time in the next couple of weeks. I still believe it's going to hit before Creature Commandos is released. Again, I could be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. It's just a hunch. It's just a feeling. So I'm prepared. I'm preparing myself for this trailer to hit any day, any minute, any second. And I'm really excited to see what this movie is. But let's remember, a good trailer doesn't mean a great film. A bad trailer doesn't mean a bad film. So don't get too carried away either way. The Man of Steel teaser was interesting, but we didn't really see Superman in it. The Superman Returns trailer was interesting. I love the bit when he's floating over the earth. He closes his eyes, opens them, and flies again. That was the kind of thing. I want to see a close-up of Superman. I can't remember. I don't think we had a close-up of Superman. Did we have a close-up of even Cavill? I think we had him thumbing a lift or something. And the Superman thing was the sonic boom, wasn't it, from a distance? And yeah, I didn't hate that trailer. It just, I think it was very moody because that's the kind of environment the movie was trying to bring on. But I'm not sure if it did a lot for me, that teaser trailer for Man of Steel. Now, the other trailers were outstanding. The one with the gladiator music in it, wow, really loved that. And that's when I was sold on Man of Steel. So yes, a trailer is marketing. At the end of the day, a trailer is marketing, and it has to sell you on the character and the movie. I think what we need to see in this trailer is Superman's gee-whiz qualities. If you're asking, how do you get kids, how do you get the young generation to watch a Superman movie, you show them the gee-whiz qualities of Superman. One of the things that I loved as a kid was seeing him fly, him using his powers, and that's the fun of Superman. He's cool as Clark, he's cool as Superman. Of course, the character and the personality and the emotions, you want to see that within the trailer as well. In reality, you want to see a bit of everything, but I'm not surprised that James Gunn has said that this is a serious take on Superman. He's been saying it for the longest of times. I think it will be a tearjerker. I think it will be emotional. I think there will be some darkness to it, but I'm also convinced it will be fun as well. He's trying to tick all the boxes. He's trying to please everyone. And the reality is, sometimes when you try and please everyone, you end up pleasing no one.